All right, hello. We should be live now if I've done everything right. And I'll wait for a few people to come on and let me know if they can hear me okay. Okay, got 5 on. Somebody can send me a note if I'm audible. Should be. Okay, loud and clear. Good, good. All right, so what we're going to do as you're joining, we're going to have a Q&A, and then we'll have a formal meeting starting at 7:30. That gives time for people to sign in, and we're up to 38, so hopefully we'll be a few hundred maybe, or who knows, by 7:30. So at this point, again, the meeting isn't really started yet, but we can do Q&A, so I'll kind of be watching for questions and answers. I can tell you we're going to be obviously covering the recent events, dealing with everything from the incredible response we're having to the sanctuaries, to the governor and other people trying to put a damper on that. We'll cover all of that. It's been an incredible ride, and I'm just excited, almost overwhelmed to think about what Lobby Day is going to be. I truly think you're going to want to be there, because this is going to be something I don't think we've ever seen even close before. It's going to be incredible. We're just trying. We've got it's one of these problems you're glad to have, but it's a problem. What are you going to do if 50,000 people show up? What are you going to do? So, but we'll work on it. Maybe we'll be calling for some help. Actually, I will be, and I'll be getting into that in the meeting about the General Assembly. I'm going to be looking for some volunteers to help me out, and we're also going to be looking for people to come out on fairly short notice. Maybe retired people or people that can take off once in a blue moon during the week to head out to the General Assembly to sit in and flood a meeting. I want hundreds there. I don't want 10 people. I want hundreds. I want, when those meetings are going on, they're debating these bills, I want it to be flooded. Let me cut that off. Yeah, I got to turn off all my alarms and everything, but the phones have been ringing continuously. For those of you that might be wondering, right now, honestly, you're going to get voicemail when you call in. The phones, as some of you know, ring on my desk. That was it just going off there. So usually you get me. You're stuck with me. But I can't do it right now. So what happens is you roll into voicemail, and then Pat Webb and Bruce Jackson are looking at the voicemail. So what happens is when you leave a voicemail, it gets sent to Pat, me, and Bruce as an email. All 3 of us get this email, and then we can listen to your voicemail. And the deal there is it goes to the appropriate person. If somebody's calling in, oh, geez, I want to join VCDL, how do I do that? Or questions that would go to the membership director, then all the information's in the voicemail. It can just be forwarded to Sandy or Pat. And if it's something for me, Pat listens in and sends it back to me and says, you got to respond to this one. It's a reporter, or it's something that only you as president can do. So sorry about that. At some point, maybe we'll go back to normal. I don't know. I don't know what the new normal is going to look like. I can tell you that right now it's bizarre. Let me let you know about this. And just so in case you're curious, not that I'm overly proud of this, but I am behind 8,425 emails. And literally every minute when my system automatically checks, it just keeps going up. It keeps going up. So over 8,000 emails. And again, it's a good problem to have. But here's the deal. If you sent one a week ago and I haven't gotten back to you, what I'm trying to do is look. I've grappled with this. It seems to me the most important thing is to look at the new ones coming in because things are happening fast. I'm hoping to catch things that are really current that need action now. Those things sitting in there that have been there a week that I can't get back to are probably pretty stale, may not even be of any interest anymore. If you had something urgent and I still haven't gotten back to you, you might resend it. But anyhow, it's been fun. All right, let me see what we've got here. And we have some questions. I know somebody wants to talk about HB 67. And let me also point out that I've been sort of unable to do a lot of my normal tasks. I kind of feel, well, I wouldn't say it was like a mouse in one of those little running cages, but it's, it's something like that, where it's really hard to keep getting pulled in different directions constantly. A lot of interviews, trying to respond to emails, phones, all that stuff. So I haven't had a great deal of time to look at the bills. That's something by now I would normally have been delved well into, but I don't have the time. But I'm watching what other people have said and evaluated them. And 67, as I recall, is the bill about if you're about training and if it's used for some nefarious thing, then you can be charged. Actually, that bill that law has been in effect, except for one new paragraph for a long time, and it's really if that whole section isn't new. It's only part of it that's new that they're adding to it, and indeed, the goal is to take something like VCDL and try to make it so we can't have our rallies and be armed and all that stuff. Again, at the end of the day, guys, it's about disarmament. But that's one that we're definitely going to be fighting on. I'd like to see the whole thing repealed. I think we all know, based on the elections, that we're not going to get that. But at least maybe we can block it being made any worse. As far as people coming, I noticed somebody said, Michael is saying expect 300,000, hopefully. Oh, boy. Double the size of Richmond in an afternoon. Oh, that would be great. Yeah. Well, we'd have to have a pretty good set of porta potties. But I tell you, this is spread like wildfire around the country. It's really something to be. I kind of wish I could do a camera in here and give you a day in the life so you can see what it's like sitting here. Except it might be a little boring. Sometimes I just sit down and I don't move for like 4 hours. Let's see. Somebody's saying my sons and I will be there. Yeah, bring your kids by all means. Wow, what a great event to take them to. Now it may be cold. It's January in Richmond. You don't know what to expect. So be sure you bundle up. With so many people, not everybody's going to get to go in the General Assembly, but the point is we're looking at the rally and maybe more. Don't think the rally is going to be the end of it at all. So you might plan on a little bit longer when that rally wraps up. So I'll talk a little bit more, but we're looking at some other plans for all those people. Somebody said 100,000 is very possible. It is. You're looking at, Shenandoah, 100,000. 1,000 gun owners in Shenandoah, 1,000 in Bedford, 3,000 in where was it? Out west, Rockingham. I think it was something like 2,000 or 3,000 up in Fauquier. It goes on and on. It looked like it was actually. I thought it was like about 1,000 in Chesterfield the other night, and it turns out that looks like the police are saying it was more like 2,000. If all those people, I tell you what, how proud can you be looking at these people out there, your fellow gun owners standing up. Granted, some of them were sleeping before, but I tell you what, they're awake now, and it's really something to see. And anyhow, let's see. Yeah, Yale says, I'd love to see a lot of women like myself show up. Oh, absolutely. Good heavens. We need as many women as we can get there. We need as many minorities as we could possibly have. We need a lot. But let me say that who we're looking at having there, a few of the things. One, I've invited, and I believe he's going to be there, the sheriff from Culpeper. As you recall, he was willing to deputize the AR-15 owners so they wouldn't have to give up their guns. And I thought, wow, now and I'll tell you what, he's not the only one. We have some wonderful sheriffs in Virginia. We really do. We got some outstanding ones. We got a few that aren't so good, but overall, we got some really good people there. And do you remember the shooting in Texas where a church was shot up and a guy grabbed his AR-15 and he headed over to stop that mass shooting, and he did. It looks like he'll be coming out, so he'll be speaking. Yeah, who needs an AR-15? Well, I'll tell you what, he can tell you who needs an AR-15. And Scott Myers points out the giant is awake now and cranky. Yeah, cranky is definitely the word for it. Definitely the word. And determined. I think that was part of that statement, about waking the giant and filling him with a resolve. It was more of a determined, a total determination. Amanda Chase is going to be speaking. I'll give her a little time. I did have to laugh. She gave me, actually it was Chesterfield County that gave me the laugh. Chesterfield County said, Amanda, you don't need you to come out to the meeting on the sanctuary thing. Just stay in your own lane. You're a senator. Stay in your own lane. And I tell you what, I had to laugh. I mean, telling Amanda Chase to stay in her own lane. Oh yeah, that's going to work really well. So of course she was there. She was outside rallying the crowd out there, the massive crowd that was outside in Chesterfield. So anyhow, she'll be one of the speakers. For those of you in the Richmond area, Jeff Katz, who's a personality on WRVA, he follows Rush Limbaugh during the week from 3 to 6. I tell you, Jeff, I listen to him, and when it comes to guns, he knows it. He knows guns, and he knows the importance of self-defense. He knows the importance of the Second Amendment. He really has been very helpful in getting the word out on all this in the Richmond. WRVA is a powerhouse channel. I mean, that reaches down into Tidewater. It reaches pretty far north, and all around. It's definitely a very powerful station in Central Virginia. So there'll be more guests. We're lining up more. The problem is not overloading things. So let's see. Yeah, the comment was made by Yale. Unfortunately, not the new Henrico sheriff. Yeah, or the one up in Fairfax. Not all sheriffs are made equal, but we do have some outstanding ones, including the sheriff out in York County, and quite a few others. Powhatan's got an excellent sheriff. So most of the state, I think, is in pretty good shape. And I really do love these sheriffs that are standing up and really loudly talking about supporting this sanctuary movement. We'll be talking in more depth about that. Let's see what we got here. Is the NRA, Harrison Schroeder is asking if the NRA is coordinating or assisting with our efforts. We have not heard a word from the NRA on this, nothing. It's been very quiet. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe they just figure it's under control and they don't need to, they're working on other things. I don't know. But I don't think we need them at this point. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think when you turn 3,000 people out to a meeting, I think we got it covered. I think Lobby Day is covered pretty nicely. But if they want to come in and help, we're happy to have them. Happy to work with them. I'll leave it up to them. Cool poster. Yeah, somebody's asking about this back here. We have these. That's a good question as far as just somebody wanting to get one. What I would suggest is send a message to Bruce Jackson, Bruce at VCDL.org. He's our guy for not only on the board, but he's fulfillment. He gets out all kinds of stuff. Anything you're ordering from the web from VCDL is going to come through Bruce. So he may have these, or if we don't, we can get them for sale if there's an interest in them. A great placard to carry. In fact, that might be great if we do a parade or a march. Probably a parade would be what I would call it on lobby day later on. We'll talk about that, but those might be nice to hold up. Let's see. We got some Lunenburgs checking in. Pocosin. All these sanctuary areas, and again, we'll be talking a great deal about that. Amherst, Flavanna. Yeah, this is nice because you guys out in those areas, most of the meetings you can't get to, and you don't really have a chance to be heard or to actually see what's going on, to be a part of something like this. We're up to 222 people. I expect that'll climb a little bit more, but Winchester, this is a nice thing about this. We're really looking at doing this every 2 weeks or something, just to keep you guys updated. And for me, in a way, it's beneficial because you know how much typing I would have had to do to get this far and cover all of this. With typing, you gotta, all the spelling, all the stuff, all the things you got to get perfectly right before you send it out. And this allows me to cover a lot of bases very quickly. And somebody said, of course, the sheriff, I didn't mention his name, Danny Diggs down in York County is the sheriff I was talking about. Top-notch, great sheriff down there. You guys hang on to him. Yeah, Winchester checking in, Brunswick. I mean, that little map, if you guys looked at if you haven't been there, go to the VCDL.org page at some point and take a look at the map of Virginia right now. And actually, that map isn't showing all the green areas. There's two little ones I should probably have a correction if I can ever get deep enough into my emails. I think I've probably got the new map there I need to put up. A couple little areas were missed on the map, but it is so green, being the color of sanctuaries. And you need to look at it. You need to look at the photo. Go to the VCDL.org page when you get a chance. You can click. It'll open up. You can see where all of the list all the sanctuaries for you as a list. It'll list the other ones that we're working and maybe some that have turned us down, but we're not giving up on them, believe it or not. And then there's the map, and then there's photographs. If you've not been up there and looked at the photographs, we've got photographs from all these different rallies showing the magnitude of this. If you haven't done that, scroll through that list, and it's eye-popping. One after the other, just, school gymnasiums packed from one end to the other. It is such a wonderful sight. Let's see here. I'm sorry, these things are moving right along. Chesapeake checking in. Lynchburg. Let's see. Roanoke isn't out of the fight. Roanoke City isn't out of the fight. No, they're not. And we really need to go back to Roanoke City. We need to get them, put a vote on. Go ahead, vote on it. Don't just say, oh, we're not going to do it. Let's just see where everybody stands. I mean, that would be very handy to know for the next election, wouldn't it? But of course, that's part of the problem. They don't want you to know where they stand for the next election. Let's see. I put 600 miles on my beater working meetings. Take the time off. Yeah. I know not much chance. My wedding anniversary was last Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever the 4th was. Haven't done anything on that yet. She's got an IOU. We're definitely going to do something. But my wife knows what's going on. She's very much aware of this, and she's being very understanding. We skip down here. We got all these check-ins. Arlington up in the tougher part of the state. What can I do to help, Dylan Craig? Pretty soon we're going to open the floodgates. Right now, believe it or not, the floodgates are closed, if you can believe that. I'm going to have all of you contacting our dear leader, Governor Northam. I think he should be hearing from, I don't know, how many we got. Our membership is up there. We now have, we're going on 33,000 on VA Alert, and those can spread. It might be nice if you got a few 100,000 emails maybe and some phone calls. What do you think? Just reminding them we're here and that we don't want any more gun control. Then pretty soon I'll be having you contact your legislators. Those of you in Democrat districts, we're going to expect your fellow gun owners are going to expect you guys to really toe your own on this. I don't care how bad your delegate or senator, I don't care who they are, I don't care how bad they are. We're going to have them sick and tired of hearing from gun owners over and over all day long. Emails, phone calls, and then more emails and more phone calls. We're just going to hammer them until they decide that maybe they don't want to do this. There's plenty more for them to do. They typically have 3,000 bills in there. They can throw away 70 gun bills and toss them in the trash and not miss a beat. So main thing to do is just watch VA Alert. We'll let you know. But the floodgates are sitting very quiet right now. But when they open, once that General Assembly session starts rolling, be prepared. That's when you are basically going to be Minutemen and Minutewomen. You're going to be out there emailing, texting, whatever it is we need you to do. We're going to get you to meetings. I'm going to need help in the General Assembly. For those of you that can do it, I'll be talking about that as we wait for more people to come in. We're up to 392 right now, so should be filling up a little bit more as we head towards 7:30. Okay, skipping through some of these. Any update on Stafford? Colin Blake is asking. Nothing that I know of right now. Again, I have to apologize. Somewhere in those 8,000 emails out there could be somebody that sent me an update, but I haven't heard of anything. So I would think it's looking good, but we'll see. Spotsylvania checking in. Boy, didn't you guys have a great turnout down there. And that was good, and it worked out well. Let's see. Yeah, and again, the Yale's mentioning we should go back to Henrico. Sure, let's not. Well, Henrico could use some improvements. You understand that not all of the sanctuary things were all created equal. But we've got our priorities right now. We've got to get ready for the General Assembly, and some things we have to prioritize and say, well, can't do them all right now. We're going to have to prepare for the next phase. So we'll see. Things can be improved. And again, I'll wait for more to check in before we get into some of the greater detail. I don't want to cover too much, but some of this is overwhelming. Some of it's exciting. Some of it's almost terrifying. So it runs the gamut over here. Yeah, Tim Fox is pointing out Sheriff Smith in Augusta is backing our citizens, and hats off to Sheriff Smith. I'd also be interested in those of you that might want to tell me about your chiefs of police. How many of them are backing the citizens? I had talked in the past, I believe it was to the Newport News chief of police, and he struck me as a really stand-up guy, but I haven't talked to him about any of this. This was a couple months ago. So if you got any positive things from your chiefs of police, let me know. And we probably should be doing a shout out to some of the sheriffs and others that are standing with us, and Commonwealth attorneys. Understand that if a Commonwealth attorney says I've got more important things to do than prosecute law-abiding people who are basically entrapped by an unconstitutional law, well, then nobody's going to get prosecuted. Somebody says, I guess those who call for Northam's resignation have backed off now. Funny how that works. Well, they backed off a while back. That back off started when everybody turned on Northam, And then when they found out that the lieutenant governor, who would have been his fill-in, had then been accused of having molested or sexually assaulted a couple women, and then the Democrats didn't really want to investigate that, so then he was off, and then the attorney general, who was next in line, had done blackface as well. Personally, I think the governor was the one in the Ku Klux Klan sheets. I think he was actually glad when the press accused him of being the one in blackface. I think that was probably less of a blow than being the guy that was representing the Ku Klux Klan, but we'll never know, I guess. And so then it turned out all three of them had severe problems. And so, so all the stuff went away, because then that would have meant that Kirk Cox would have become governor. And they would rather have seen Virginia crash and burn than have that. Let's see, Chet Peel. To my understanding, I've heard we should wear our Hunter orange hats or shirts so that there is no mistaking who supports gun rights on Lobby Day. Oh, that's true, I suppose. Look, on Lobby Day, and I'll try it again. We're going to be starting up in a minute. I'll try to come back to that. I suggest if you're going to plan, if you're one of those that are going to be in the building and lobbying, dress business casual. You're going to have an orange sticker on your shirt saying "Gun Saves Lives." They're going to know who you are. Believe me, they're going to know who you are. They are going to know who you are. If you're outside and you're going to be part of a crowd out there, sure, you could wear orange hats if you want. Look, at these meetings, we had, I guess, about 2,000 in Chesterfield. There were like 9 antis, and they were gone early. They're not showing up at all in most locations. And this is the other argument about this when Saslaw says they've got some kind of mandate to do gun control. My question to him is, well, where were all these gun control people during these huge rallies? Where were they? You had just a small handful. We turned out, so literally we could turn out 500, for every one of them, we could turn 500 or 1,000 people out. Where were they? Where were the huge marches? There were none. Some mandate. We know it wasn't a mandate. It's all baloney. Ask if we're going to kick Mark Warner out. Well, he's certainly done nothing for gun owners. Absolutely nothing. He has been a huge, huge disappointment for years. So very, very disappointing. Yeah, Rockingham. Somebody's reminding me, 3,000 people. That video, that somebody had to take a video, was such a big thing. And 3,000 people. For those of you coming in, hopefully you've all picked up. This is kind of a Q&A. The meeting will be starting in a couple of minutes. This is not the official meeting yet. This is just letting people get in, get signed on, figure out where we're at. Checking in. We're checking in from all over. We're members coming in all over the state, all over. You name it, we got people there. And that's the beauty of this, is that you guys are having a chance to attend something that we don't do very often all around. We just can't do it all around the state. Terry Bauders pointing out we should pressure Suffolk. Yes, we should. And Suffolk's another one we should go back to. That whole area, if we can get that, if we can get, all these things online, all these cities down there, hopefully they'll go like dominoes. Next week has got some important stuff coming up on it. Right, Rick Fisher's asking where are the volunteers needed. We'll put it out in VA Alert as we figure out where we're going to be needing volunteers. We're going to be needing them for a variety of things, and I'm going to start here just literally in a minute or two. Be sure, if I don't get to that fairly soon, remind me of that. These things are coming in so fast. I apologize. I'm going to be skipping over a bunch of you. Welcome to my world lately. This is how everything is. It's just it's literally drinking out of 5 fire hoses at the same time. It's a good problem. Let me tell you that it's a good problem. I feel bad. I'm used to answering questions one-on-one, covering everybody's things, and talking, answering the telephone. And I feel like I've abandoned everybody in that. But just understand, I'm not. I'm just trying to get other people to help, and they are. We've got some great board members helping out here. Actually, I think one reason too the moms haven't been showing up at these things is that I think Bloomberg's been flying most of them in from out of state anyhow. They're probably busy in other states doing other things. They couldn't get them in. I don't really know. But I know one of our guys was at an airport one time after I think it was after the special session that the governor called for gun control, and saw just loads of them at an airport getting ready to get on an airplane. Geez, I wonder where they were going. Maybe flying up to Ashland from Richmond. All right, a little sad humor there. All right, it's 7:31, so I'm going to go ahead. We got about almost 400 people on board, so I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting now. Appreciate everybody on. We got people checked in all over for you. Those of you coming in, I mean, literally, we got people everywhere in the state, just about all checking in here, which is wonderful. Gun owners have been just wow! How fantastic has this been? These the rallies. I mean, it's if you have not been to a rally, let me tell you, you need to go to a rally. It is a wonderful experience. The energy there. I was at the one of them I can think of. I was in Virginia Beach, 1,800 people there at least. And I was standing up. I just addressed the crowd. I'm not good at projecting my voice, but I projected anyhow. And I'm starting to get a little hoarse, but somebody came up behind me and they said, "Where do you get all your energy?" And I just smiled. And I held my hands. I looked at the crowd and I said, "That's how I get all my energy. All of that, all of those people coming together, standing shoulder to shoulder." And you listen to these members going up and addressing city council and how well they do it, how professionally, how they have their facts together, how they present themselves. You guys are great. Absolutely. I'm always proud. It's been a real experience to be at these things. If you haven't been to one, you might want to go, even if it's not in your locality, to go show support and just to be a part of that. Of course, what's going to put all this and make it all look Mickey Mouse is when we go to Lobby Day. If you miss Lobby Day, I don't know what to tell you. You just don't want to miss Lobby Day. That's going to be an experience you'll probably talk about for a very long time. It's shaping up to be. We're trying to wrap our heads around how big this thing could be. And I know our executive members are working like mad. Tess Elshire just all these various EMs are getting together and trying to work on buses. They're working on thinking about logistics. Well, what do we do if all these people show up? What about porta potties? What about food trucks? And Layla Meyer's doing a great job. Layla and Tess have both been beating their brains out doing this stuff. All volunteer. Jumped in with both feet. It's a big job coordinating all the buses, getting the buses lined up, getting the people set up to figure out what people are on what bus, finding the people to be the coordinators on the bus, all that stuff. It's a lot of work, and and Layla and Tess volunteer for other things as well. But we've got, Pat Webb has been taken on a lot of, I've been forwarding her emails. She's been handling phone calls. She's a treasurer and the secretary, and she runs a gun store. On top of all that, I don't know how she's doing it, but she has taken an incredible burden on. Bruce Jackson, not only fulfillment has exploded. He shows me pictures of all these boxes ready to go out and be shipped. Just incredible numbers of stuff going out to you guys, people needing rolls of stickers. That's important. If you're going to be, if you're going to these meetings, you're going to be the guy that you think is the guy there handing out stickers. You need to get in touch with Bruce to get a roll of stickers to hand out. So far, it's mostly worked out well. I saw a couple of things, a couple of the far western localities that I saw pictures of. I didn't see the orange stickers on people, but mostly, if you look at these things, everybody's got them. It makes, again, it's a big statement. Everybody recognizes those. The media always zooms in on it. And of course, when they do, our logo is right there on the sticker and the URL and everything. So you got to go to these things. If you haven't, you definitely got to be at Lobby Day. Bundle up. It'll probably be cold. Who knows? Maybe it'll be nice. Well, I remember one Lobby Day, we had like an Indian summer that day. It was wonderful. I don't know. It is what it is, because they'll take away your rights in the rain and the cold and the snow, and they'll take them away, whatever. So if you stay home, well, they're still going to take your rights away if you don't go down there and fight. Let's talk a little bit about that. This whole thing, when it started, the whole concept of sanctuary counties, sanctuary towns, it started. VCDL jumped in and helped get it going. It already had started. We were familiar with this and looking at it, and I love grassroots. Grassroots is people get together and they get things done, and so we had a couple counties get rolling, and then we jumped in, and then we coordinated it, got people organized, got them all the information they needed, who to begin contacting. We got a resolution together. John Pierce, another person on the board, and an attorney who's been working his tail off for VCDL and being an attorney at the same time. He got us together a model resolution that's been spread around. All of that was going, and we started getting a few, we're calling them green states, because you got your red for Republican and blue for Democrat, and we have green for gun owner. Green spans all of that. Republican, Democrat, Independent, those are all gun owners. And when we look at a map for gun control, if somebody wants it, I'm going to show that map to the General Assembly and say, this is the map for gun bills. And green says we don't want any more gun control. This is the map of Virginia when you look at it from gun rights perspective. All this green, this massive amount with a couple little cutouts here and there, a few little tiny jobs around in maybe 3 places. Those, except for that, all that green is people that don't want more gun control, be they Democrats or be they Republicans. We're all a family here. We are a family of gun owners. And we need to do what we've been doing, which is stand side by side. The hunters standing side by side with the concealed carry permit holders, standing side by side with the target shooters, standing side by side with the collectors, standing side by side with there's people out there that don't own guns, but they support us because they know the importance of having so many armed people. And some of them are thinking, someday I may want to own a gun. I don't own one now. I don't think I need one, but someday I want one, and I want to make sure that I can have one. And all of that is fine. Nobody expects people to have to be a gun owner. I think, most people should. I think if you wait till there's a disaster, like what happened in Katrina, and you think about getting a gun then, it's too late. If a natural disaster hits and the music stops and you sit down in the chair you're at, you better be ready, just in case. It's like a fire extinguisher. We all pray we don't never need it. None of us want our house to catch on fire so we can test out our fire extinguisher. But you better have it if that stove catches on fire. So anyhow, I think a lot of our hunter friends have indeed woken up and are indeed joining into this fight that weren't in the fight before, and that's good. I think this is going to educate more gun owners. This has probably done more good for I hate to say where we are. I hate being here, but I must say that maybe in the big scheme of things, this is what it was going to take to begin to turn things around in this state. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Sometimes you have to look at something and back up and say, sometimes there's a bigger plan than we mere mortals can see in front of us. We'll have to see, and we just hope it's a good plan that I'm hoping down the road we'll have, because the people that I see at these rallies, second to none. These are good people, determined people, men and women, everybody, blacks and whites and you name it, Latinos, all there. And it's good stuff. So when this started, I read something early on, this is an Appalachian thing. So there was the sort of the put down for the you could tell it was put down for people in Appalachia, which is totally inappropriate. And then it started going more places. And then next thing you knew, VCDL was under attack, and me personally, in the papers, and people writing letters to editors trying to attack, and people poo-pooing the whole thing. Oh, this is nothing. These things, they have no weight to them. This is going nowhere. VCDL's deceiving people. That this is going to help. All of that was going out. And the idea was, of course, they saw it starting to spread. And this was a little bit of panic on the side of the gun control community. Some of these attacks were from my counterpart in gun control there. The attacks continued, but it didn't work. The more they attacked us, but we were starting to get more counties were coming on board. It didn't slow us down. In fact, each of these things was getting bigger and bigger. And then pretty soon, the map was really filling in nicely with very big turnouts. And that this was getting back to people like Saslaw, people like that. They were going, what's going on what is this? What are these sanctuary things? What's going on with this? I'm starting to hear from people, and I'm seeing these turnouts. I'm getting calls from board of supervisors saying, what's going on? Why so many? What is, and it's things catching fire. And so I kind of knew what their next step was going to be. They were trying to find some way to stop this. And one of the things that fired them up was SB 16. For those of you not familiar, this is a bill put in by Senator Saslaw, absolutely no friend of gun owners, up in Northern Virginia. That would have basically said that you own an AR-15 or a similar gun. In fact, it covered shotguns. Some of you hunters with shotguns. Oh, guess what? Some of your semi-automatics would have become illegal. Some handguns, the bigger handguns, could have become illegal. AR-15s, AK-47s, a whole bunch of your semi-autos would have become illegal, which means you would have had to do something with them. You would have gone to bed on June 30th, a law-abiding gun owner that's never done anything wrong in their life, woke up July 1st, and if the police come in your door and found those guns, you'd be a felon. You'd be on your way to court in handcuffs, and you would be on your way possibly to prison, having done nothing wrong, having the very guns that our founding fathers expect us to have. They wanted us on par with the military, because if the country were ever to become tyrannical, it's the military that would be turned on the people, and we would need to have guns to fight back. And it wouldn't be pea shooters, it would be guns that were on par. So the very guns they're trying to take away from us are the very guns our founding fathers would say they would absolutely expect us to have. They would actually expect us all to have these guns in our houses as just a matter of course. So what they decided, and I warned you guys, I gave you the warning. I said, I know where this is going, and this is going. They're going to back off. They're going to say, all right, we goofed up. We didn't mean to take away. We're not going to come to your door and take your guns. Oh no. Well, no, of course we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is we're going to grandfather them. You can keep your guns. Hey, how about that? The only thing we ask is, how about if you register your guns? That way we can get them later because we'll have all the information on them. So they were hoping we'd be stupid enough to fall for that and selfish enough. Oh, I've got my guns, so to heck with anything else. I've got my guns. I'm good. I'll go back to sleep. And I have to admit, it gave me pause. I worried about people that weren't VCDL members that maybe hadn't really thought about all this. Our view is simple. No, we're not giving away the rights of the next generation, of our children, of their children, of their children, and their children. Not giving them away. Not negotiable, not for sale, not to Bloomberg, not to anybody. Not giving them up. So that didn't work. I found out because I immediately began to watch. When he did that week, I watched what's going to happen. Are turnouts going to drop? Turnouts went up. His attempt to slam the brakes on only sped up the car. He hit the gas instead of the brakes. Now we were seeing rallies with 3,000 people in them instead of a mere 1,000 or 1,500. So the next step, when that didn't work, now real panic is setting in. So these gun owners weren't as stupid as I thought the governor's thinking. So now what do? Well, now if we can't get them to back off, how about if we threaten the government threatening the government? How about if the state threatens the counties and the cities and the towns and says, boy, if you accept this, well, there will be consequences. And then you have one of our beloved congressmen, Democrat congressman from Virginia, saying, well, maybe the governor has the right to call out the National Guard, and they can go out and they can enforce the laws. How many of you can picture that for a minute? Wouldn't that be an interesting photo to have in a newspaper? Personnel vehicles rolling into downtown Appomattox to take control of the government center. How do you think that would work out? It's not going to work out. That's where it starts getting scary. The governor has made one bad move after another. He just can't help himself. I had given him a little credit. I said that he would, take SB 16 and grandfather it. If you remember, that came out like a Sunday or so ago. He couldn't help himself. He had to throw in registration. He had to sweeten the pot a little bit. It's like, come on, really? You had to throw that in, didn't you? Just couldn't hold back. Couldn't leave it as bad enough that you'd expect us to register our guns. We had to register them. And he hasn't talked about this himself. He hasn't actually said it. To be fair to the governor, he has not said anything about calling up the National Guard. Not that I remember. He just said there would be consequences, and he let it hang there, but there was a pregnant pause. I mean, there was meant to be a lot of read into that pregnant pause. But it was our congressman that brought it up. But I believe the press or something asked the National Guard about that, and they kind of gave sort of a neutral answer, which, by the way, I would expect. Absolutely. They claim they've not been asked anything like that. They probably haven't. And to me, it would be wise to say, really say nothing about it. Just say, well, we've not been asked anything, and leave it at that. Why should they go any further at this point? So the thing that was supposed to be nothing, a little Appalachian effect, is, of course, now across the entire state, all the way across. And there's just a few little areas that are not colored in right now, green. The green representing gun owners, representing no more gun control. That's what that represents. All right, so Lobby Day. I had somebody asking about how Lobby Day works. Donna North Fleet Queen. How does Lobby Day work? Well, the way Lobby Day works is we have everybody showing up at 10th and Bank Street, which is where the capital is of the state in Richmond, and we marshal into teams at that area. We put together teams of 20, 30 people. Wow. Right now, if the turnout's anything like we want, we could marshal teams of 1,000. Imagine that. 20 teams of 1,000. Well, the building can't hold that. The truth is, we're going to shut down the building. There's no doubt. They're going to have to literally, at some point, stop anybody from going in until somebody comes out, and then somebody can go in. Somebody comes out. Somebody goes in. It's literally going to be jammed. Some people aren't going to be able to get in, but you're going to be part of the rally at 11. We may have you doing some other things, so be patient on that. Be patient. But there's no way we could get 100,000 people or 50,000 in that building. Again, that's a problem I'm kind of glad to have, but it's an interesting situation. It's a difference from driving a pickup truck as opposed to an 18-wheeler pulling an extra trailer behind it and trying to drive through tight traffic. It's going to be an issue. But you basically show up there, you're put into teams, and you're sending the building in teams. Unless something changes, and I don't expect it will this year, and we're going to keep fighting this as well. You should be able to carry in the building. If that changes, we'll get out an emergency alert, but all you need is a permit. You do have to have a concealed handgun permit. With that, you can carry openly or concealed, but you need the permit to get in. Don't have a permit, not going in with a gun, and don't bring any knives. Just if you're bringing something that would be considered quote unquote any kind of a weapon, it can only be a handgun, and you got your concealed carry permit or firearm, if you will. No knives. I know it all sounds silly. Now, you can bring cell phones and all that. It's not a courthouse. You can bring cell phones. Take pictures. I encourage you to take pictures. You're going to want to take pictures. You're definitely going to want to take pictures of that rally. And then you go in as a team. If you've never done it before, don't worry about it. You're in a team. You will have leaders there that do this and have done this before. And you will be assigned, the team will be assigned certain rooms to go to. You'll be seeing senators. You'll be seeing delegates. You'll be seeing Republicans. You'll be seeing Democrats. We're going to be seeing everybody. Generally, you're welcomed in, and some people will welcome you with absolutely open arms. Pretty much everybody will be nice to you. There may be two people, it's usually two Democrats that really, I think, shame everybody. I mean, I think the rest of the party is a little bit ashamed of their behavior, but they no guns in here. And it reaches a point of stupidity. One of them asked the people leave their guns with his secretary. And I think that was Levine, I believe it was, Mark Levine, if I remember correctly. He was having people leave guns with his secretary. Well, unless she has a concealed carry permit, that would make her a criminal. And when she got the second gun, she could be charged with a felony. And he's a lawmaker, and he doesn't know that. So it's like, okay. But that's rare. I think there may be two. Then you'll go to other places, and they'll have a sign up, by their door, welcome VCDL. Mostly you'll be welcomed by far. And nobody should treat you badly. But you'll be going in teams. And what you'll do is, one of the more things I've got to do is once the bills start really rolling in kind, and tons of bills start going in, I'll be analyzing them, running them by John Pierce, our lawyer, looking at them, and then they'll go up on the internet on our website so you can see what bills are out there and if they're good or bad and what to do to support or oppose them. All that will be up there. And what I do from that is I make a document. It's an analysis of all the gun bills, good and bad, and they're categorized. And your team will go and bring one of these and hand it to every delegate and every senator. And most of them will want it because it saves them a lot of time. They've got like 3,000 bills that cover all kinds of things. You name it, they cover it. Guns are just one tiny part of what a legislator deals with. So they actually like these, that they can see the summaries of what the bills do in plain English, why they should support or oppose, and all that. So they actually like getting this document. So you guys will be hand delivering those as you go to each delegate and senator that your team is assigned. You're not going to see all of them. You're going to, I don't know how many, it's 10 or whatever you'll go to see. And so everybody will be busy lobbying. You'll be passing each other on floors. There'll be people down the halls, all wearing their Gun Saves Live stickers. That in itself is quite a sight to be there and seeing all these people standing in line, waiting to get into offices to speak to delegates and senators. And that's what goes on there. And then as it approaches 11 o'clock, the teams will stop lobbying and they will head out back to 10th and Bank. And right there on the Capitol steps is where we'll be setting up. The setup will begin at 10:30, but the actual rally will begin at 11. And people will be in front of the steps. They'll be down a little, you'll be able to see, but down below and spread out beyond the bell tower and beyond on both sides, it's going to be huge. I just pray we have a sound system. The state provides the sound system. We don't get to provide our own. We had a much better system than they have, but they insist you got to use their little podium sound system. And so this will be fun. We'll see. So if you can get a good place, get there relatively early, I would recommend doing it. We're going to have buses. We have some of you in the more remote areas relative to Richmond. We got buses. Again, that's what Layla and Tess have been coordinating the buses. We got buses from Tidewater, where we usually had one bus. I think we've got two, maybe three. I don't know. We got a couple coming from Northern Virginia. They're coming from all different parts of the state. They're coming from Roanoke, Lynchburg. It's all over the place. We have other groups putting together their own bus and sending it. This has spread so far that we are seeing people from other states as far away as Texas saying they would love to be here and stand side by side with Virginia gun owners. I kid you not. We're all brothers and sisters in this. And it's heartwarming to see that. Do we need them to fill in our ranks because we don't have enough people? Oh, no, we're going to have enough people, plenty within Virginia. But certainly if people want to come up here and be a part of this event and to stand shoulder to shoulder with their fellow citizens of this country, we're happy to have them. There are plenty of patriots to go around out there. So it's going to be great, and we'll fill you in more as we work out other details. I've been in touch with the Richmond Police Department. They came up. One of the officers gave me his card, lieutenant. That he said, "Boy, anything we need, they'll be there helping out." And like I told the officer in the Capitol Police, wonderful. We appreciate you guys. We want you there. We're all caring, but that doesn't mean that we want the police there. We want them. Because you know what? The other side is getting more and more unhinged over this stuff. They're seeing a tidal wave coming their way. No, it's a tsunami. It's not even a tidal wave. It's a tsunami. This thing is huge. These are crowds they've never seen before. And these are people standing up at the same time saying no more gun control. No more gun control that affects people like you and me. I had a reporter today. So, what bills are you going to oppose or support? I said, it's very simple. When you read the bill, you say to yourself, does this affect the everyday gun owner in any way, shape, or form? Does it make them jump through another hoop to get a gun? Does it make them, does it take away anything? Does it take away any ammunition? Does it take away any guns they may have? Does it restrict guns they can buy that they can buy now that they can't buy in the future? Does it restrict their children from being able to go hunting or to a 17-year-old to have a long gun? Does it restrict any of that stuff? If it does, we oppose it. And we oppose it in its entirety. If you want to poison pill one of those bills, just put in something that affects a gun owner, and we're going to vote we're just going to say, no, we don't want any of it. No, we're not going to compromise on any part of it. We don't want it. No more gun control for the law-abiding, decent people. No more. Zero. We're done. We've got tons of gun control. We need to roll some of it back. It doesn't work. There's a map that I've got from the state that shows where the murders occur in Virginia. And, you guys aren't going to believe it, but almost all of them occur in little areas, little pockets, very small little pockets at some of the major cities and some of the counties in little areas. That's where they are. If you cut out those areas, if you could take an X-Acto pen and cut them out and throw them away and just look at the rest of the state after that, well, murders would be pretty rare. They would really make the news. It's like, wow, somebody got murdered in Virginia, first time in 6 months. We know it's criminals. We know that the vast majority of murders are criminals. It's gangbangers killing gangbangers. It's drug deals gone bad. It's in the poor part of town, which, by the way, if somebody needed a gun, it would be a law-abiding person that was poor that had to live in certain parts of Richmond or Norfolk or other parts of this Roanoke and other places. Those people need a gun more than anybody, and they're the ones that can least afford a gun. They're the ones that having to pay $50 for a permit is a major ordeal. Let's face it, most of you out there, if they raised a fee on a permit to be $100, you could afford it, and you would still get the permit because you're going to protect your life. But if they changed things like that, there are people that would move it out of their range. But this isn't about crime, guys. The Democrats are not trying to do anything about crime. If they were, there's all kinds of things they'd be doing, and they're not doing any of them. These bills are going after you and me. And they know when they do that, crime's not going to go down because we aren't committing the crime. So when it doesn't go down, then what happens? They come back and say, see, that didn't work. We need more gun control. And then they wink at themselves and just wait for the crime to continue. Oh, that didn't work. We need more gun control. That's how we go down with universal background checks. They know the criminals aren't doing them. And so when they implement universal, crime's going to keep going. And they're going to be surprised. No, they won't. They'll fake surprise. Oh, we thought this would work. Well, that's because we didn't register guns. You gun owners out there, you're selling your guns and stuff to these criminals, and we can't stop it because we don't know you're doing it. You're going around that universal background check. So we are going to need to register guns. And then there comes that bill where you've got to register your guns. And if they ever have to search your house for any reason, they find a gun you didn't register, or they find you don't have a gun you did register, then they're going to put you in jail. And once they register the guns, then they go, you know what, we're making AR-15s illegal. We got a list of every one of yours. You better have them, and you better have them ready when we show up at your house. That's how it's going to go. And all that will be based upon the fact that crime never lowered. It wasn't lowering. That's like trying to put out a fire in your house by the fire department aiming the water at your neighbor's house and then wondering why your house burned to the ground. That's what they're doing. And they're doing it intentionally. They don't care about crime. That crime drives gun control. They're just as fine if it goes on. And I'm sorry to put it that way, but I firmly believe the Democrats have no interest in stopping crime. They want us disarmed. And then you ask yourself, why would a government of the people, our servant, want to disarm us? Imagine if you hired a butler. The butler's job was to take care of your house. And the butler said to you, you're not getting filet mignon anymore for dinner. I'm getting the filet mignon. We're going to let you have hamburger. But you're my butler. Well, too bad. I'm telling you, you're not going to have but hamburger. Or I, the butler, am the one that's going to have the guns. You are not allowed to have a gun, Mr. Owner, my boss, not going to have one. That's where we are. So why would a government want to disarm us? I think we know. We know how that'll work. Venezuela? Ask people from Venezuela. We've got some speakers, and one of them spoke at the D.C. rally, and she was from South America, and she had her story to tell, and it wasn't a surprise. It's something that we cannot let happen on our watch. This is our watch, folks. Imagine, down the road, the next generation looking back and learning history. I'm not sure where they're going to learn it because this would try to be covered up, I guarantee. But they find out that it was our generation that let it slip. So, we can't do it. Just can't do it. Can't do it. Liberty, this whole concept of America, what we live in now, its birthplace was here. This is why VCDL pushed to get carrying parks, the national parks. We're loaded with national parks. Virginia is living history. We have so much here. This was the beginning. This was the roots of this. And we may have to be the roots of gaining it back again, of getting the General Assembly back in shape, getting rid of the gun control, turning around a ship that's just going in the wrong direction. It may have to start here again. But I've seen you guys in action. So, I did have to sort of laugh a little bit at when one of the delegates asked the Attorney General to sort of rule on these sanctuary, Second Amendment sanctuary localities, I was just dying to see exactly how he's going to rule on that. He's kind of talked about it a little, but I'd love to see his ruling. How is he going to rule on that? If he says, "Oh, they can't do that," doesn't make any sense. Well, then what about illegal alien sanctuaries? How does that apply? And this is going to be fascinating. I'm going to be fascinated to see how good he tap dances. Maybe he's good at it. He's going to be doing some tap dancing, trying to say, having a sanctuary for a constitutionally protected right is not legal, but having a sanctuary for illegal aliens that shouldn't be in the country in the first place is okay. That's perfectly legal. So good luck with that tap dance. I had to admit, I got a chuckle when I saw him put in that position. This will be good. So yeah, you have to laugh or you'll cry at some of this stuff. And yes, Alexa, I just wanted to pop by me. You can carry inside the General Assembly with a concealed handgun permit, not a license in Virginia, a CHP. So anyhow, that's a little bit about Lobby Day. We're going to have some really, really good speakers, I think. I can tell you that I'm probably going to have to be somehow beating off all the politicians that are going to want to speak at a rally of that size. As it is, it's like that with our normal rallies where we have a mere 1,000 people. There's going to be a lot of politicians that want to get up on that stage. A lot of good people, but we can't do it all. We're given an hour, and they're strict about the hour. And I do have to laugh. Every year, Bruce will get all of us right towards the end. We save a few minutes, and we all get near the bell tower. And we get our annual photo. It's like a class photo of everybody, of the crowd out at the rally. How is that going to work this in January? How is he going to get a class photo of what I think is going to show up there? I have no idea. I have asked, and I don't know if we'll get permission, but I have asked if we cordon off an area, can we send a drone straight up, not over the crowd, just straight up over a cordoned area where you can't hurt anything. Just go straight up, get a picture of the crowd from one end to the other, and then come down and land and be done with it. So we're checking into that. We're considering a few things. It might be fun to have, maybe 30,000 people march past the governor's mansion and maybe politely ask him to reconsider maybe resigning. And resigning on the grounds that he swore to uphold the Constitution, and all the bills he's pushing are the opposite of that. They are destroying the Constitution. Red flag bills, they really do it. I mean, they take the whole thing and you throw it, and you take your whole Bill of Rights and just put it in a fireplace, and that's the red flag laws. And again, classic example of a law that's not meant to save lives, but is meant to disarm. Red flag laws don't take the quote unquote dangerous person and give him treatment. They don't give him help. They take his guns and they leave him there. As far as they're concerned, maybe they're hoping he'll commit suicide by hanging or something, and they still got his guns. They would see that as a plus, I think, at this point. I mean, what else am I supposed to think? They're not getting him any help. And if he really is dangerous, he threatened his family or his neighbors, and they take his guns. Is everybody safe? No, it's not about that. And they know that a judge is not likely to give your guns back. How do you prove to a judge you're not dangerous? You're guilty till proven innocent under red flag laws. You have to go in and say, well, that's my ex-wife. She lied about me. I didn't do any of that. I didn't even know she was doing this. I haven't talked to her in a while. And how are you going to prove? How do you prove that you are not dangerous? Good luck with that. So this is serious, and my fear is that people will fall for this. But we have really done a bang-up job getting the word out on red flag laws and universal background checks. So I think we're in much better shape than we were just a few years ago. And we need to be, because as I promised, these things will be coming up. And this time they've got the votes to pass it. But again, there are realities in politics. And when they look out and they see this many people standing up Yeah, they can do it, but do they really want to do it? A lot of politics is about power. And yeah, they have the House right now by a 5-vote margin. But if they pass any gun control, they're going to own it. And in 2 years, I promise you, those crowds will not have gotten smaller if they now have gun control shoved down their throats. The Democrats are going to own that. And I have a feeling they aren't going to own the House and may not own it for a very long time if they pass gun control. And by the way, any Republicans that join them in passing gun control will also own gun control. And I expect a similar fate to happen to those Republicans. So there's more to this than merely the Democrats having the power to do all this. They've got a lot more to weigh. It's one of these things, yeah, you can do it, but do you really want to do it? You know, you can drive your brand new car into a tree, but do you really want to do that? It's up to you. So we'll see. We'll see if they really want to do that. But again, we're willing to work with them. Give us bills aimed at criminals. I don't know what those would be, but give us something that will actually cut down crime. But you know what? We're not going to see that because they don't want to cut down crime. That's the whole point of having crime, to blame guns on so you can disarm everybody. And then we can be Venezuela where they've got real crime. So let's see. I'm just looking at some of the comments here. If you bear with me a second here, they're rolling in pretty fast, so I'm kind of having to kind of skip through. Yes, somebody. So again, I apologize. It's going to be hit and miss. Palmetto Armory. Darn, I didn't think about it. I'm here on this, and I should have brought in my the pistol that I built. I'll just have to describe it to you. Sadly, well, let me see. I wonder, that's all right. I'll try to remember next time I do this. I'll be able to hold up my pistol. Palmetto Armory is doing lowers that you can buy that show. It's not the full seal of Virginia. It's the lady standing where she normally held the pike or down over the dead tyrant. And so it doesn't have the Sic Semper Tyrannis on top. It just got her. But instead of, and this is etched on the side of the lower, instead of the sword or whatever, she's holding an AR-15. And so it looks really cool. They did a great job with it. And then where the selector switch is, where you got your safe and fire, and then if in reality, if you had the extra thing to full auto, that's where they put Sic Semper Tyrannis. It's right there on that part. So it's a really, really cool looking thing in honor of Virginia and what we're doing. And let me tell you, that thing went up in less than 48 hours. You want to know how many they sold in 48 hours? Lowers, just strip lowers. You fill it out however you want. 1,600. And it's now, I think there are 2,300 have been sold. Now, I guess that's another 24 hours have gone by. VCDL gets $10 for every one of those. So we've got $23,000 so far coming in to help fill in our coffers for lawsuits that we're prepared and ready to file if we need to do so. And we've been laying out tactics and how we're going to go through the courts with this and which courts. So take a look at Palmetto Arms. Take a look at that, the lowers they've got there. I haven't ordered one yet. I may as well order one of those too. It just, if nothing else, just to have it sitting on my desk because it's so cool. Just like my other was, of course, the VCDL lower. And that I built into a pistol. And I did that because a concealed handgun permit covers pistols. And therefore, there's a lot of advantages to that if you stop and think about that. And it makes I made a cool pistol. In fact, it was Palmetto Arms. As a sheer coincidence, I ordered the kit from them to fill it out. I got a 11.5-inch upper and all the components for the lower. I'd never built one before and didn't have all the tools, but I made do with what I had, and it worked out just fine. I love the internet. You go on there and learn how to put this stuff together. There's free videos for almost anything you want to do, so it's great stuff. So check out Palmetto Arms and their lower for Virginia. Tess Elshire is asking if I have invited the governor to speak. I have not. Could do that. Sure, I could. Don't have a lot of time to give him, unfortunately, but if he's willing to show up, I'll find time for him. I would love for him to explain how those bills are not going to affect us in a negative way, not going to take anybody's guns away. He'll say, well, we grandfathered the assault weapon bill, and I'll say that took away guns from the next generation. How's that not taking guns away? Curious what his answer would be to that. Nick Freitas is a great speaker. I don't know. We may consider having him up there. Don't know. There's several really, really good. Nick is really good, but we don't have a lot. If they would give us more than an hour, gosh, the people I would love to have up there for a 2-hour session. Geez, there would be lots of them. But they're very strict. We've got to be done in an hour. And the problem with speakers, especially politicians, is you say, hey, you got 3 minutes, and 7 minutes later they're still talking. And so I think we need one of those hooks like they used to in the cartoons, pull somebody off the stage. I need one with a little VCDL logo and pull them off the stage, or maybe a trap door that you pull and they drop off the stage when their time is up. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be my wife said all this is going to be historic. She's absolutely right. For the first few seconds I was weighing that was the case, and it didn't take long. I thought, yeah, she's right. This is going to be historic. So you definitely want to be a part of this. Let's see. So Tommy Powell's asking, what concessions will you make? Concessions? We're not going to compromise on any of the gun bills if in any way, shape, or form they negatively affect gun owners. That's the answer, Tommy. We're not going to make concessions. Now, if they're willing to give us something big that we want, like say carry in K through 12 schools for permit holders, and they want to take something that's not very big, something that people would be reasonably willing to trade, something minor, we'd be willing to talk about that. It's not going to happen. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Never. That's not how they work. They don't do that. Their version of compromise is you give and I take. That's how they do compromise. So not going to happen. Now, if they got a bill, they had a bill in, and we supported this. The new speaker had a bill in for a couple of years. It gave gun owners a tax break. No tax if you buy a gun safe under $1,000. Didn't say anything about you having to have a gun safe. Just said, if you want to buy one, we'll give you a tax break. We said, fine. We like choices. You have a choice. Don't want a gun safe? Don't buy one. You want one? You're going to get a tax break. So we supported that. If she wants to put that in, we'll stand with it. We'll go for it. Of course, some people say, well, citizens shouldn't be paying, absorbing the tax on that. Well, okay, that's a battle that can be fought. It's not our battle, but it's a battle that can be fought by the people on the tax side. And if they win, they win. But we can support that. Again, put in bills to go after criminals, we can support that. If it helps gun owners, if it doesn't hurt gun owners, it's some sideways thing. We're going to make some adjustment to concealed carry permit licensing or something, permitting, and it's something that, it's a 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Then we'll stand neutral on that. No compromises. We're not compromising. We're done. We're done with it. They have got too much gun control now. They got too much. There's nothing we give. Nothing, unless let me know if you think of something. What can we give that would lower crime? I can't think of what it would be. Criminals don't do background checks. We're already doing those to make everybody else happy. And why are we paying a $3 fee for that on guns? By the way, if it's public safety, the public should be paying for checking me out when I buy a gun. I shouldn't have to pay that fee, or the $2 fee, I guess it is. Shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to pay a fee for my concealed handgun permit. And by the way, that may be one of our next steps. The government, if they're sort of saber rattling that they're going to bring out the National Guard, which National Guard is us. I mean, I can't imagine National Guard turning against the citizens, but we can do what they did out in Tazewell. They have a militia resolution going in there where they're going to be passing ordinances that make concealed carry permits free. The county's covering them to have as many people fit for a militia as possible, getting their permits and training. They're going to provide training in K through 12 schools, firearm training, to make sure that kids graduating from their schools at least know basic, true firearm safety. How great is that? This is the kind of thing we may want to go back to these sanctuary towns, cities that have passed this stuff in counties and say, let's do this too. Let's pass one more resolution while we're at it. Let's go ahead and get firearm education in the schools. Let's go ahead and make permits free. The county will cover the $15 fee to again, build up a solid militia. If we had a really good governor that understood this stuff and understood us, he would realize that concealed handgun permit holders, crying out loud, would be the perfect militia in an emergency, the perfect group of people to bring up if we ever had a Katrina, to augment the police. But he doesn't view us that way. He's really, really missing it. I have to giggle. I saw Jill Slayton McDaniel, Phil Van Cleve for governor. That's actually hilarious. There was I'd have to pull it off the board back here, but there actually were, years ago, it wasn't 2008 or something, there actually were bumper stickers that people printed up and were passing out that said something like Van Cleve for governor. I kid you not. I mean, I got the biggest kick out of that. And it was because at the time the Republicans put up a candidate that was horrible on guns, horrible overall. The Democrat was horrible. People were frustrated they didn't have anybody, so they printed up these stickers. I have to admit, I got some great pictures of people with that on their trucks and stuff. It was a great honor and absolutely hilarious. I just saw that comment. I had to do that. And I must admit too, somebody's talking about. Hold on a second. Let me make sure I get the context right in here. Actually, I'm not sure. This thing's moving so quick, I can't get context. I don't want to comment on something else. I'm sure I know what they were talking about. But I see. If you look, somebody's Ed's posted a link to that lower. If you want to take a look at the Virginia 15 lower from Palmetto State, he's in the comments here. He's got that. So Sheriff Jenkins, Culpeper Sheriff Jenkins, has been invited. He had left me a voicemail. We were doing phone tag today, and he left a message saying he would definitely try to be there. And I did ask him, left voicemail for him. We just couldn't connect directly. I said, please, get a chance, either voicemail me or text me final confirmation. But I would love to have him there. But I'll tell you what, we do have an abundance of really good sheriffs we could have there. And I'm going to try to get a list of them. In fact, if you have a sheriff that really has stood by the citizens, like Jenkins has, or some of these other counties, I hate to say send me an email. I'm behind 8,000 emails. Just trying to think. What I want to do is get a list of them. I'd like to have some way to honor the best of the best. Let Jenkins speak, and then talk about Danny Diggs and all these other wonderful sheriffs, Henrico, and all these other different counties, and that we've got in cities. We've got some great sheriffs in that are standing with you. And if there's any police chiefs that are doing that, that's a little harder to find, but they're out there, I'm sure. Let me know. It's just they live in a different environment, and it would depend on where they were. But there are probably some that absolutely do stand with us, especially if their city or county is a sanctuary. So let me know. I guess go ahead and send the emails. I'll get to it eventually. Maybe flag it. Put **** sheriff ****, and I'll try to search for that. and I'll keep a list of those, and then just real short, just like one sentence of why this guy is so good. If it's if there's somebody like Danny Diggs, I already know them, so but let me know. There's some great people out there, and they should be recognized. I'm sorry, these pauses are just me looking to see if there's something in here that that would be of interest to all of you out there. Chris Welch is mentioning that moms demand action. Our equivalent would be moms demand guns. Had bullhorns, had buffoons, had buffoons out there. Yeah, they had that, but they also had bullhorns last year. Well, I have been absolutely told by Department of General Services that runs this that they will not do that again. That they were apparently chastised. Now, I don't know how they chastised them, but they claim they were, and I guess I don't know that they weren't, but they won't be doing it this year. And if they do, I will be in touch with Department of General Services really quick. They should be there. I don't think this is going to be a problem. So we might want to keep an eye on there from a distance. We always tell people, don't go to their rally. Don't. Couple reasons. In fact, when we're there, if they're there, just ignore them. Don't mingle with them. Don't be rude to them, but just ignore them. They don't exist as far as you're concerned, and hopefully they'll do the same thing. We're on different sides of the fence, and there's a lot of people there. It's just best to ignore each other. They've got their right to speak. We've got our right to speak. They're not going to shut us up. We don't want to shut them up. Look, in the battle of ideas, I'll take them on any day. Side by side, we can debate them, and we know who's going to win. They know who's going to win. That's why they tend to be a little bit angry and want to shut us up. So just ignore them. We don't want to go to their rally because in the past there have been cases where gun owners showed up just to see what they were going to say. And when the picture was taken by the press from behind, this big swelling of people was mostly us, but you didn't know that, so you assumed it was a big rally that they were having, and their rally was actually fairly small. So we say don't go unless you just there quietly to observe and not wearing, and not many of you, if anybody goes to observe, just to make some notes, but just I would just be totally quiet if you're going to do that. And again, the police will be there to make sure. They'll be on the lookout for troublemakers from the other side. The thing I want you to really be aware of is that it's just like them to set something up to bait somebody into saying something that just out of sheer frustration or anger, and then somebody else will be there getting it on video so that they've got propaganda to use. Oh, see what this mean gun. They'll cut out the first part of the baiting and just put somebody yelling at them or something. So just don't fall for it. No, it's all a game to them. They're trying to cause trouble. Just ignore them. If they continue, approach one of the many police officers will be there and let them know. I don't think they're going to be in the mood to have people doing that. So I see some people like the firearm safety. Let me scroll forward. I'm way behind here. Now, again, for those of you watching, if you haven't joined, go to vcdl.org and you can join online. You can get on VA Alert. If you're not on VA Alert, you're on Facebook. You've got to be on VA Alert. That's where the action is. That's where things are going to be happening. And you'll need to know what's going on, especially over the next few months. Absolutely. You may have short notice to get together. Look, at the General Assembly this time, we need, a couple things, and I don't want to run you too late tonight, but this is fairly important stuff here. I should have hit it a little bit earlier. Bob Sadler helps me lobby. But this year he's got some health issues he's having to deal with, and so he's not going to be able to be down there. So it's going to be just me. But there are thousands of you, so it doesn't have to be just me. So I'm going to be very in the near future calling for some volunteers that are VCDL members. You need to be a member and have been a member for a year or two. And I'm going to be looking for volunteers, maybe people in the Richmond area that are retired or have a flexible job that can take off for an afternoon or something every now and then, or retired, they can come in anytime, and we'll meet and have a little group go around and do help me lobby, because we're going to lobby a lot of people, and talking to them about the pro-gun bills. We're going to have constitutional carry put in, a whole bunch of other stuff. We're pushing forward. This isn't just a defensive thing. We're going on the offensive. We're putting in some of our good, strong bills that we've put in the past. Like I say, constitutional carry and a bunch of other good ideas that have come up. So we'll be doing some lobbying. But when they have a meeting where they're having a hearing, where a committee or a subcommittee's meeting, that's where, more importantly of all, that's where I want you guys to turn out. I need people to plan on being at a minimum one of those during the next 2 months. If you can only get off one day from work, but if you're retired, flexible in your job, I want to get hundreds of people down to each of these meetings. I want the room flooded. I want the hall flooded, down to the elevators if we have to. When they hear these bills, when they're making a decision to pass or cause a bill to fail, to vote against it, to vote it down, we need to be there. We need to show that we're not only interested, we want to be there. We care very much about this. We want no more gun control. Or if it's a pro-gun bill, we want to let them know we're here. We want this. It's about time that we see some more forward movement. We're not getting something from the General Assembly. We're getting rights restored that have been stolen from us over the last 100 years or so. We want them restored. We want the right to carry wherever we go. We want nobody telling us about what guns we can have. We want all that back. So be prepared for that. What I'm looking for is our own, what's the word I'm looking for? Some kind of our own fast-acting team, some militiamen that I can call up and say, we need to get together and go down and flood a room with gun owners. All standing unified. Again, when you come, just the other side, don't just ignore them. Let them speak. Let them say what they want. We've got our message, and our message is the one that they fear. I don't fear their message at all. Their message is easily shot down. There's nothing they can say that we can't counter. If they think gun control is the solution, all we have to do is point to Chicago, Baltimore, and D.C. They've got the gun control these guys want and more. And until they can explain those massive crime rates compared to Virginia's, which we're way down the list of states that have crime, we're way down the list. The other thing I'll remind them is violent crime has been dropping for a decade now or so. It's been dropping. It's been going down on the graph. Gun ownership has been soaring. They're separating. They're going different directions. So if gun control is the answer, how is that possible? So, as I see here, somebody's commenting, Terry Bauder, and I haven't read her whole thing, but she talked about some moms demand folks got in her face, along with some other people. That does happen. What you do, look, it's not so much to bring religion in this, but I'll tell you what, there's some things I've learned in my 67 years on this planet. One is the golden rule. That if you live by that rule, you'll be in pretty good shape. I mean, I've just found out to be true. It was just a wonderful thing. And the other is to turn your cheek. Now, to turn your cheek doesn't mean if somebody goes to harm my family, I'm turning my cheek. Oh, hell no. Oh, no. No, not happening, man. But somebody insults me, somebody yells in my face, turn the other cheek. It's not worth getting into an argument or a fight or harming somebody over or being harmed over. Just accept it. Walk away. They will be more frustrated. They will be more angry than you could ever get them by not responding. They want you to respond. That's the point. They want you angry. They want you as mad and as hateful as they are. And when you smile at them and you just let it roll off like water off a duck's back, you just take a breath and relax and just let it go. The frustration in them is incredible because it's like trying to push a string. They're trying to push and nothing's happening. yeah, you turn the other cheek and you treat others like you would want them to treat you. And maybe they're not treating you that way, but that's where turning the cheek is, of saying, I'm not going to respond in kind. Believe me, their arguments, if they were good, they wouldn't have to be screaming them and trying to shut you up. They know it's not good. They know they're on the wrong end of this, but they want to dominate. They want to be in control, so they don't have to own guns. I think if they can disarm everybody, then they can just live their lives and nobody can harm them. It's the stupidest thing on earth, but there you go. So yeah, let's do that. Let's make sure that we don't have any kind of conflicts down there. I know earlier this year when we had our original meeting, I think we had the 3%ers show up or something like that, and they were there, I guess, in their minds to provide security in case Antifa showed up. We've got plenty. We could have so much security there. I mean, if 20,000 gun owners carrying guns isn't security, please, I don't know what is. I really don't know. I mean, even just mere handguns. I mean, Antifa's never showed up at anything we're doing. Never showed up. And this would be an interesting time to show up with 20, 30, 40,000 people there. Okay, so it's going to be interesting. We're still grappling with Lobby Day. I mean, we're going to do our best to pull this thing off and make you have a good time and make it productive and maybe get enough Democrats. Remember, we only have to have 2 senators and 5 or 6 delegaats change their mind out of 100 or 40 senators and out of 100 delegates. And you doing what you're doing by going to make these rallies as big as you can make them as big. Make sure you go to these things because we're getting pictures. These things are being broadcast on television. You make that so powerful that these Democrats will think twice and 3 times and 10 times and 100 times if they really, really want to do this and spend all their political capital on gun control when there's other things they want to do and won't have this kind of effort against them. We'll see what happens. I have no crystal ball. They might just say, we don't care. Then they pass all this stuff unanimously and then we have to go to court over it. I don't know. I can't swear on a firstborn because I didn't have a firstborn, but I can't tell you that it's we're absolutely not going to be able to stop it. But I'll tell you what, I can't tell you, and they can't tell you that we can't. And I think the power, the energy, I think it's going to be fascinating. And this is going to be a fight to come. And they're frightened. I can tell you everything that they're doing, all the stuff. They're negotiating bills that aren't even in front of the General Assembly, and they're already negotiating amongst themselves with them. That doesn't normally happen. They're very concerned. We should be very determined. So I want to wish, I think we've covered it. Let me look real quick to see if there's anything else that I need to cover really quickly. I'm sure there may be buried in here. I'm sorry. Again, we'll do this again in 2 weeks. Assuming everybody likes this idea. I'm sorry, it does tend to be more of a one-way conversation. I'm trying to read these things. And, I'll try to get better at this as time goes on. So, but I think having a chance to share some of this is important. And the good news is too, people will be able to watch this on their time off. If you can't see this at 7 at night, you should be able to get it like on your cell phone, using the internet connection while you're driving. You listen to it while you're going to work, and therefore you're not doing anything any better. And instead of listening to Rush Limbaugh, you can listen to me. Good luck with that, right? But anyhow, I think that's it. We're looking for some good turnout. Next week we've got a very busy week in front of us. We have a bunch of counties and cities coming up next week. Let's not forget that. Amelia, we're sitting at 93 right now. 93 is the count. And we stand a very good chance of hitting 100 by the end of the week. It could definitely happen. There's 95 counties, but we have like 30 cities and towns and all that stuff. So this is eye-popping. people I've been getting calls and contacted from reporters from other states, Georgia, Oklahoma, Kentucky. They're all watching this because they know that Virginia right now is a firewall. They're turning their eyes to us, hoping that VCDL and the great citizens of the state of Virginia, the patriots that are here, people that have a history with this state. I don't, but there are people here that they go back generation after generation, all the way back. That those patriots are going to show how you save the Second Amendment and save the Constitution, and how people can organize, how they can fight back, and how we can make sure this country is handed to the next generation intact instead of in pieces, instead of handing them a Venezuela where all they'll know is suffering and hunger. We can't do it, guys. Can't do it. It's up to you. So you guys have a good evening. Thank you very much for coming out.